I haven't done a video for quite a while now. I know that it's about 2 or 3 years, I think. And I had a lot to do, and I was thinking a lot about what's going on, what's happening with this world, where are we steering towards, and what might be needed. So finally I got the time again and the energy to sit down and record a little bit, a few of my thoughts, and I want these to share with you right here. I really wondered why the world is in the state where we find it right now. We are on the brink of really, really harsh times. We might be on the brink of, a world that no one of us wants to imagine. No one of us probably wants to live in. A world that is beyond any Mad Max world that we can imagine. A world where in a foreseeable future that probably all of us, or most of us, except the very old ones among us, will probably experience. A world where maybe billions and billions of people, not just a few hundred, billions of people will be on the move because they will look for a place to survive, a place where they find food, a place where they find water. No fence, no wall will help any of us then, because no fence or wall can stop billions of people who are desperate for survival. So I thought over the last years, and you can also see that in my last videos, a lot about what I found out that I call survival mode and its opposite, the living mode. It's very likely, from a psychological standpoint, that the world is where it is right now in something that I call survival mode. We thought the world is huge and we are very small. It's kind of a fear-based system that says, oh my God, the world is out there. So we need to shape the world according to our needs to survive on this big and maybe even threatening planet. And that's a thought that is totally okay. That's a thought that is totally understandable if you have it. This thought just creates behaviors. It creates survival behaviors. Competition, me first. I want to, pass you on the run for food. Hoarding, greed. I need to get more hay into my barn before the winter starts so I can survive the winter and possibly also the next winter. And I want to secure and guarantee my survival as much as I can, but you're always the enemy, because if you want to secure and guarantee your survival as well, we have a problem if there's not enough for all of us. A lot of technological progress was made that way, and it brought us to where we are today. It brought us to our way of thinking. So it created all the technology that we have today. It created, for example, the technology through which I'm now talking to you. Without that technology, it would be impossible to talk to each other at the speed that we're doing today, to connect with each other at the speed and at the possibility how we are doing it today. Many, many things that we take for granted today, good things, came out of that kind of attitude, set of behaviors, and brought us technologically to where we are. On the other hand side, there's some disadvantages. As long as we saw the planet as a huge thing and ourselves very small, you go into the woods and make the woods to a field so you can seed something, you can harvest, and you can nourish yourself. Now maybe this picture changed. Maybe we are that big and the planet compared to us is that small. So it's not anymore a hostile environment that we have to tame. It turned maybe much more into a garden that you have to take care of. So on one hand side, Survival mode brought us to, technological wise, to where we are, and gave us the technologies that we need to deal with today's problems. On the other hand side, it brought us to these severe problems that we are facing today, that might, in the end, if we don't take care, result in our extinction, or in the extinction of most of us. And I wouldn't be one of the ones who stay, because that life would be so miserable that I wouldn't want to participate. One thing we might have to do, from a psychologist's perspective at least, is to change our governing thoughts about us, about this planet, and about life, and what life is there for. Survival mode says we are here to survive. It's like a computer game. You're in a computer game, and the only thing you try to do is not to fall out of the game. I don't know how long we would play that game, and I don't know how much meaning this game would have to be. It's like being in the first 3 basic levels and always trying to be in there, trying to be in there, trying to be in there. That does not really mean playing the game. Yes, it's surviving the game, but not really playing it. You can start playing the game only when your survival is secured. When you're staying in the game, is at least for the time you're playing the game, guaranteed. No game is fun where you enter the game and whoosh, you're out again. So you want to be in the game to start exploring the game, start exploring the possibilities of the game, start playing the game. And I think as humankind, we are not there yet. Because for most of us, the staying in the game is not guaranteed. Still in this world, most of us are trying to stay in the game, for better or worse. For some of us, yes, staying in the game is kind of guaranteed. Yeah? The staying in the game is kind of safe. Yeah? But I don't even think that in our minds staying in the game is guaranteed. Most of us are not only physically in survival mode, most of the ones that are not physically in the survival mode anymore are psychologically still in the survival mode. We think we need to be faster, we think we need to be richer, we think we need to hoard more, have more, keep more. Yeah? So maybe psychologically and socially, our constant struggle to survive, our political systems that we have built around surviving, have created where we are right now. One aspect of that survival game is, for example, that most of us, nearly all of us, look up and see, because they are the ones that have everything. We suppose they are in living mode, so we look up and see what can we give them, what can we do for them, so we get what we need to survive as well, or to live, to start living a little bit. So we look up and say, what can I do for you, so you give me. That's a system that we know from our parents when we have been children. That's a system that we know from monarchies. That's a system we know from dictatorships. And that's a system we know from adoring the rich. What can I do for you, rich person, so that you guarantee or secure a little bit my survival? But you know what? By looking up, there's one thing we don't do. Maybe we don't even have time for that. We don't look left or right. What we would see if we looked left or right was ourselves and each other. As long as we look up, we think we need you up there for our survival. When I start looking left and right, I can see, what if we started to guarantee the participation in the game of everyone left and right all the time? What if we decide to start creating living mode, to stop struggling for survival, stop looking up to give me what I need to survive, and start creating life by guaranteeing the survival of each and every one of us on this planet. We can do that. If we want to, we can probably easily do that. It's just a question of ideas. It's just a question of, sitting together and saying, okay, how can we guarantee that? The staying in the game of everyone, which is living mode. Not having to care for your survival on an everyday basis. Food, shelter and basic health, guaranteed for everyone. Like, okay, let's stay in the game. Let's ensure for everyone that every one of us can and will stay in the game. Not by looking up and begging, but by looking left and right and deciding this is what we want to do and this is what we want to have. These are the rules of the game we want to play here together. Because you know what? For saving this planet, for saving this world, we need a basis. We need the possibility to do this. And I don't think we're there yet. Because whoever struggles for survival has the survival attitude of me first. And right so. Because if I'm on the brink of starving to death, I don't care about your plastic trash. I don't care about my plastic trash. I don't care about pollution, not of the forest, not of the ocean, and I don't care of the rainforest because I can't. I don't have the time for it. I don't have the energy for it. I don't have the freedom for it. I can't play this game as long as I play the survival game. We have to stop playing the survival game. We have to move upwards to the next levels. And you know what the fun thing in this game is? That in the next levels, the rules change. In the survival game, you just get that far. And we know the survival game pretty much by heart. We know the results of the survival game. We have played it for thousands of years already. We have played it on different stages of technological development. We have played it on different stages of sociological developments. But we know the results. It's like in a computer game. You always need to collect from the first levels what you need for the next levels. But then you don't stop at one level and don't proceed to the next one. You use what you've learned, you use what you've acquired and move on. Because that's what the game is all about. To move on. We need to expand to the next level. And the next level is not, oh my God, such a big planet and we are so small humans. The next level is, oh my God, so many humans and such a small planet. And it's not, wow, there's this endless world that we can exploit for our benefits. It's more like, okay, wow, the next levels consist of a garden that if we want to, we have to take care of so we can live from it. We and the next generation and the generation after this and the generations after that. Caring for a garden requires much different attitudes and behaviors than exploiting a hostile nature. Maybe that was okay for the past. But look where we are now and look what we need to do now. And in the next level, we need to do it ourselves. There's no Papa who will do it. There's no king who will do it. There's no president who will do it, as we can see. And there's no God who will do it. Let's start building a society that has the means of taking care. That means, first of all, every one of us has the feeling of, okay, it's taken care for me. Nothing really basically can happen to me. I won't starve to death. I won't freeze to death. I have a house and a bed to sleep in. And if something happens to my health, it's basically taken care of. All of a sudden we can think, okay, wow, now energies are free to play the game in a new way, in a more progressed way. So once again, and I know I'm repeating myself here, the first thing to change anything, in my opinion, is start changing the context, the framework of the game by ensuring the participation of every one of us in the game, so we can start working together and stop working against each other. That is what is needed to help this planet. Everything else is bound to fail, because that's in the system of againstness versus the system of togetherness. So we drop the survival paradigm and start the living paradigm. With that, with entering the game of the living mode, we can also drop the growth paradigm. And that is really important. If our participation in the game is guaranteed, if our survival is guaranteed, we don't need to grow anymore externally. Why do you think we have an overpopulation problem? I think psychologically the reason is safety and survival. When would a woman give birth to 10 children? When she fears that one or two might die, at birth or in the early years, and when she needs them, or the family needs them, to feed them when they are old. It's basically a protection for old age, which you can see in all the societies where you are protected when you're old, by retirement payments, by social security systems. The birth rates drop down. Women don't give birth to 10 children anymore, except a few of them who want to do that, which is totally okay. But women found many, many other ways, to develop themselves in that life, to go from one level to the next level. And that's not only giving birth to children. So population in these countries actually decrease, or they would decrease if there were no people moving into these societies all the time. So you could say overpopulation is a problem of survival mode. Just imagine, on this planet, we don't need children anymore for our security and safety and protection when we are old. We have children because they are our future generations, and we help them to live in that garden as good as possible. So if we are protected and our survival is guaranteed, nothing can happen to us anymore when we are old. We won't starve to death then. Why couldn't we have that maybe today sounding crazy idea of, letting birth rates go to where they would be when we all have a guaranteed participation, and then see over the next 50, 70 or 100 years how the population of this planet decreases to a level that is totally bearable and sustainable for that planet. Imagine we go back to 5 billion people, not by force, voluntarily, by just letting it happen. All the houses are already there, all the roads are built. Everything necessary to sustain that many people is given. The only thing we have to do is maintain what we already have, and start inventing a world, looking here and there where we have developed tools, methodologies, or materials that are not good for the planet, just to replace them with better ones. Energy system, to replace them with better ones. First step, guarantee our participation. Guarantee the possibility that we all look towards the solution. Second of all, reduce to a sustainable number of people in the next 50, 70 or 100 years. And while we do that, think about what needs to be replaced by a more sustainable version of it. What are we doing with all that plastic? What are we doing with all the nuclear fallout? What are we doing with all the coal and everything that goes into the air? We are already thinking about replacing it. But it's going to be stressful because so many of us cannot participate because they're still struggling for survival. And that always comes first. Once survival is guaranteed, we all can start focus on the solutions for our planet. We don't have to focus on ourselves anymore all the time. We can focus outward on the others and on the planet. I don't know how we will do that. If we will do that by a universal basic income. And I don't need to know how to do it because I'm just a psychologist. I show the patterns, I can show the governing thoughts of who we are. Do we think we are here to survive, or do we think we are here to live and to play and to explore? There are thousands of brilliant minds on this planet who can think of these solutions that we need. All of us can think about that. We're a whole force, all of us, who can look into the future and who can start creating a future that is worthwhile, that is livable, that is maybe passionate, that is fun, and that makes sense to be in. And I would love to see a growing number of people, exchanging these ideas, expressing these ideas, writing them, creating a little video so that we kind of sweep the whole world with ideas of the future, ideas of a living and livable future on this planet. How would society look like? What would you do? Create it, record it and share it and throw it out there. Doesn't matter if you send it to me and I put it on this channel, or if you put it on Twitter or on Instagram or on TicToc, wherever. Yeah? If you want to do something for the future, we need to have a vision of the future, a live vision of the future, where people can say, well, yeah, that's attractive. This is something we really want to go there. That is more powerful than just saying, oh, this is what we want to avoid, this is what we want to get away from. That's not so good. That doesn't work as well. Where do we want to go to? How does the world look like when we're there? Make it attractive so we want to be there. And then we can make our decisions and take the steps to get there. All of us together. All of us together. That's, in my opinion, the only way. Thank you.